Hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Alyssa and today I have a first time for me collab video with a friend here on YouTube. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please keep watching. My collab today is with Ravneet here on YouTube. She's got the handle Pantings. And of course I will link her channel and I'm going to try to include a picture and all that. So you probably are already watching her because, I don't know, why wouldn't you be? She does so many really good looks. And I mean, she's also really amazing at panning. But I don't know if I'm watching more for like the panning excitement or for wanting to see what looks she comes up with. In fact, I actually tried to kind of copy one of her looks and I did on my community page where I showed it and all, and it was just like, I loved it and I really need to probably look at more of her looks and recreate them because it was fun and it was beautiful. And yeah, so I had reached out to her and asked if she wanted to collaborate on something. I just thought it would be fun. And so I was thrilled when she replied yes. And she came up with the idea that we would pick a palette for the other person to try to dupe with our own collections. So of course I had to go back and look at her different, collection videos and, inventories or whatever. Try to figure out, what she has. But of course, she's used up products. So I was just trying to, think about what maybe she could do. I ended up giving her, well, maybe I shouldn't tell you which palette, so it'll be a surprise. But because you better go watch her video, all right, and see what she came up with, because I want to see how she duped it as well. But you can go look. It is an indie brand that's very popular here on YouTube. Lots of the big influencers get their stuff and they talk about it and all that. So, you can go check it out. For me, she gave me a few options as well. She said that since I have all of my special shimmer shades, she wanted to pick things that would go along with that. And she linked to me this palette that I did choose from Unearthly Cosmetics. It's the Gargoyle palette. And I hadn't actually seen this one yet, I don't think. And so I'm going to show you different looks that I did. I ended up using all the eyeshadow shades. Today's look was the last one I did. And I actually had gotten I thought I was done. And then I had to turn the camera back on because I realized that there was technically one shade at least that I hadn't used. And then I realized that I also kind of changed another shade. So I'm also gonna be showing you, as I was picking them out and swatching them and, kind of putting it next to how the palette looks. So, starting off at the top of the swatches, and I will say that I was going off of the swatch photo before I realized that there was a video that kind of shows some shifts. So some of it I didn't quite maybe realize, so I kind of played with it a bit. So we'll talk about it. All right, black eyeshadow. I've got different ones of that, not a big deal. Dark blue, and then also the blue that's right under it. Those were actually a little bit challenging just because I couldn't quite get that blue. Like my blues were a little different. I was really trying hard because I have a bunch of blues and, none of them are the exact same, but I still feel like I have the essence of it. And part of the whole duping these palettes is so that I'm not tempted to spend the $68 plus shipping and tax and all that to bring it into my life when, maybe I have most of the palette already. If I really wanted that exact blue, then maybe I could try to find a single like that, but I'm happy with the blues I have. So, I went through that. And then under the black, there's that dark kind of, so, because I've been looking at it on so I have a phone that I film on. I have an old phone that I just kind of use for random other stuff that you might see sometimes. That's what I'm holding now. And so between the two, it looks different. And then I was also on my computer looking at the time, and it looked more blue. So I can't tell if it's like blue or purple, to be honest, but it's this dark shimmer. So again, I picked something that was similar enough, and this is not a shade that I would probably use very often myself. So, you know, again, I would be happy just keeping the shade that I own and not bringing this one in. The shade underneath it, I'm like, I know what I'm going to use for that. So far, those other shades were all, actually, no, were they all? No, the black was Sydney Grace, the dark sparkle was Sydney Grace. The two blues are actually from my Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette. Then this lighter purple shimmer I used from Terra Moons. It's called Rosette. And then next to it was a light blue. And later on, there's like more of a, so here's the thing. I thought it was more of like a light, like a pastel teal shade. And then when I read the descriptions, because I also didn't realize there were descriptions, it was supposed to be more of a sage green. I don't know how I feel about the sage green going with the other shades in this palette, to be honest. That one kind of sticks out for me. So I'm okay. I ended up doing a pastel teal for that. And then the light blue almost could be like the pastel shade that I picked for, and the pastels for my Sickly Sweet. I don't have that depotted, so it's just me using the palette alongside. So instead I used a light blue that I have from Sydney Grace, and you know, to me, it they almost kind of go together to get those two blues. Underneath the light purple shimmer is a taupey shade, and again I had Sydney Grace eyeshadow for that. Next to it and right below that one, there's these two kind of murky shades. And so, you know, if you go off of, it's hard to find, the descriptions for the shades were not in order. They're definitely like multi-chrome or something like that. So I know I'm not going to have the exact shifts. I have a certain purple shimmer, although it's less shimmery, and I kind of think, I thought maybe I could finish it up, but it's just not, I don't know. I think it might be expired. It might just be time to like do away with it because it's just not performing as well as it did even earlier this year. So not awesome. There is a shade, I think, from Fantasy Cosmetics that might be similar in one of their palettes, but you can buy those as singles. So I am considering either that palette or the single at some point, but not at this point. The other shimmer, so that one was from a brand that doesn't exist anymore. I wouldn't support them, all that kind of stuff. The other one was just another Sydney Grace eyeshadow that I had. The dark purple, again, this was one where I really wanted to try to get, because this is like this murky grape purple. I don't have any purple just like that. I have like maybe in that like grape family, but not dark enough. Or I have, you know, like some dark purples, but then they're like too dark. Part of me kept thinking if my Dollhouse purple shade might have worked. I tried the one in my Sickly Sweet. I looked at those and they didn't, but you know what, it might have, and that might have been a better match than what I picked. But at the same time, I picked a purple that is dark for me and that I liked and thought went well with the other shades. So maybe because I didn't have the exact same blue, having not the exact same purple was maybe a good idea. Then next to what I thought was the pastel teal, but it's really a sage green. This was, again, I guess more of a multi-chrome, and I've looked at it on different screens, so it looked different, you know, for me. I picked the shade that I'm talking about here. That's the peachy, shifting green type of look. I think it went actually really well with the palette. It kind of was pairing together for me, like the more neutral shades and then the more blue shades. Like I think I might have used it in all the looks that I did. So yeah, to me, then that is a good shade to use. The copper shade, I found, well, I actually have it on my lids right now. So I think that I did a decent job. Theirs, okay, well, actually I should say this. One, theirs is a little darker, but I don't really like dark shimmers that much, so this is good for me. Two, apparently this is a shifty shade, but I don't have a shifty copper kind of shade like that. I know they're also popular ones to have, but I don't actually have that many multi-chromes. I have more like duochromes and things like that. And if I was gonna buy a multi-chrome, I usually don't like the dark ones as much because for me being so light-skinned, it just, I don't know, I don't like it as much on me, I think, so, as I do on other people. All right, then we have a darker brown and a lighter brown. Those, again, I use Sydney Grace shadows that I have. Next to the light brown is that green gold shade, and this one was very hard for me. I kept mixing and matching different things, and this was the eyeshadow that I forgot to use then in a look until, you know, after. So I used for my Dollhouse palette a dark green shimmer and then the gold shimmer, and that could work, and that's what I ended up doing here. But I also found that if I put that one peachy shade, which by the way, that's from JD Glow, and I should have said the name earlier, but they also are, I don't think, open anymore. I don't think you can buy from them, so there's that. But if I put that on top, it also kind of gave a little bit of that vibrancy. So it depended on if I wanted more of the olive green gold look or like this brighter kind of look. And I am okay having, you know, multiple versions of the same shade. And then below that, it just at first had looked to me like a white shimmer, and I didn't realize that it was so like kind of interesting. So I did like just a white shimmer shade from Sydney Grace, and that was kind of what I used. And then I realized that later when I've been picking, I was intending to have my one white sparkly shade from the Dollhouse palette work kind of with that as well, even though it's not a multi-chrome like this one looks. Although I don't think they said it was a multi-chrome. I think it might just been like a white gold. Oh, I think it's this one. I think it's the Awakened shade. That's gold, green, pink, and orange. It's probably supposed to be that one. And yeah, I don't have the exact way of getting that. But I feel like, again, what, you know, having a sparkly white and all that works for me. And then next to it, I thought was just a matte white. So I grabbed one of those from Sydney Grace. And then I read the description later and saw they said pale pink. I'm like, oh. So I do have a pale pink in my Ulta palette, and I kind of used it a bit too, with some of the looks just to kind of see. And then today, I didn't show it in the video because I did the white inner corner, and then I actually went over it later with that pink just to kind of tone down the white. You can actually kind of see, I feel like with the light right now, the pink there. So I do feel like you're, you know, kind of getting to see that. And I feel like you can see the, you know, this is supposed to be that gold green shade that's on the bottom. And then I used the brown. So I kind of was going like neutral with a bit of green today for this look. So, you know, but I also did lots of the blue looks. I thought about putting some of the purple down here, and I was still debating it, and then I remembered about the green. So it would be, I guess, interesting to do neutral lid and purple underneath. I also didn't want to do it today because I felt like I was having some darkness under my eyes and didn't want to exaggerate that with some blue purple eyeshadow. So anyway. For the second look, I actually decided to keep the inner corner and just wipe off the rest and do something a little bit more simple. all that to say, I had a lot of fun duping. I've never actually tried to dupe an entire palette like that before, so you know, it was fun. My arms were covered in swatches, and you know, I try to keep going washing to, you know, because of course it's blues and purples and they want to get everywhere and stain my arms, but it's fine, all in the name of makeup. So yeah, and I decided to include the friends in the video today. My kids don't actually use these guys anymore, but I think they're kind of cute. So, you know, is their the pillow pets. Someone was talking, I'm not sure I remember. I was talking with someone on here about pillow pets and having them, and I was like, I have one actually in my room. It's a panda, and these are ones that we got for the one kid, and then the other one we thought we were getting other pillow pets, but they were more just like pillows, like they didn't have the Velcro thing. So, but yeah, then he didn't even want them. So, or kind of, but didn't really use them. So there you go. And of course, tomato is there. All right. So that is it for today's video. Like I said, if you haven't already, please go check out Ravneet on her channel. I will link it so that you can find it easily. And you can also leave her a comment telling her hello from my channel that you came over. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, if maybe you're visiting from her channel or you're just visiting today, you can think about it. Maybe give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And if you like other panning content, then, you know, I will be around with more for you. So until the next video, I hope you'll be doing well. Bye.